Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Championship Check-In podcast. Holidays are done. Schedules are all sorted. And Sam is here now. People were saying, when are we going to get a full show of Sam? You're going to get one today. Sam, how you doing?
Good, mate. Yeah, recovered. Busy weekend, busy bank holiday, and recovered from the 7-1 trouncing at the CBS Arena. Now the official home of Coventry City. You know what I mean?
I do
Great.
know
What
exactly what you mean.
what a day for them. Because that has been
You're
weirdly.
still
I've
thinking
kind of
about the bad news with your QPR hat on, though, aren't you?
yeah. I had a very, very good tweet from a QPR supporting friend of mine saying, "Look at you having the time of your life when we're getting beat 7-1. You lot make me sick."
And Sam, we saw you on Final Score, a BBC, or I don't know if it was a BBC debut for you, but how was Final Score, the EFL guru for Final Score, Sam?
It was really good. Yeah, no, I loved it. Obviously reacting to the goals going in and chatting about the season so far. Alongside Glenn Murray and Chris Sutton, some centre forwards there.
Oh yeah,
Unfortunately, I think my goal
all of a
return.
certain profile though, isn't it? You big
Yeah,
lads, you three, yeah.
yeah. I think my goal return paled in significance in comparison to those two. But no, it was really good fun. And yeah, you couldn't write it. Coventry, the goal going in time and time again, going back to the reporter, and obviously just briefly before you go to the reporter, we get it on the video printer. I was like, oh my goodness me! But they were clinical, weren't they? I mean, 8 shots, I think it was, 7 went in the back of the net. So
1.7 xG.
not struggling,
Efficient.
not struggling in front of goal at the moment.
No.
Coventry. So amazing day, because I was just going to say, like, I was weirdly, I covered them quite a lot at St Andrews. Yeah, so I'm well aware of their plight.
COVID, yeah.
Yeah. No,
Well,
just when
both
they were.
actually, yeah.
Yeah, it was just when they were obviously playing their home games there, and they really enjoyed it because the pitch was a great pitch at St Andrews at the time, and they had a good team under Mark Robbins. But yeah, well aware of the club's plight and the difficulties with the stadium. So to overcome that, just like, what an amazing day for them.
So the Saturday routine now, if I'm on a watch along, hang out with me at lunchtime, and then if Sam's doing Final Score, I think he's back in September again, go and check him out. Right, what we are going to do, Sam, we are going to look at some surprise super starters and some sloppy, slow starters, because we haven't had you for a full show. I kind of just need to get your summings up of the first 3 rounds. I know we've got an international break coming up, but I just want to know where we stand with your thoughts on everything. Get in the comments right now if you think your team is either a surprise super starter or a sloppy, slow starter. Alliteration, easy for me to say this morning. So I'm assuming, Sam, in terms of your super starters, you're going to be looking at Preston, Borough, Stoke. Coventry, it's only a surprise that they've scored so many goals. It's not a surprise that they're third, is it? Can I also quickly throw in Sheffield Wednesday? I know it's ridiculous when they're 21st and they've got 1 point. We all expected them to have 0, and they could have 4. But who do you want to talk about as your first super starter?
Yeah, all of the aforementioned probably, but yeah, Sheffield Wednesday definitely worth a mention. I think anyone who's listened to me the last few weeks, they'll take
you
points.
You were right. Yeah, I mentioned that the other day, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll take points. So yeah, great to see them up and running. Yeah, Preston. I think everyone was really down on them, and I was guilty of that as well. And I think it's only natural. You look at the back end of last season. You look at their woes, how they managed to get themselves into all kind of trouble. But first thing I noticed, obviously, was my 3-3 for him. Him and Michael Smith is going to be a handful. Michael Smith, despite maybe some limitations in the twilight of his career in the second tier, he's a
You're
wiry
on
old
comms
character.
for that goal he scored at Pompey last year, weren't
Yeah,
you?
he's really effective, and I've watched him for many years since he was at Swindon. He's effective, and I think he's one of those strikers who's probably split opinion over the years, but he always gets a decent return. He's a handful. and obviously the wing backs. I think Thierry Small on the left hand side.
You liked him last season, didn't you?
He was great, and he was playing right wing for Charlton for Nathan Jones in a kind of lopsided setup. So he's more obviously naturally left sided, playing left wing back, and it's Valentin, isn't it? I think on the right hand side. So all of a sudden, system is similar to how it's always been, but you got the right kind of players in the important positions in that shape. So they deserve an enormous amount of credit, and the scalps they've taken.
Iverson, the keeper as well, Sam, do you like him?
Yep, yeah. Top keeper. We'll come on to probably the best keeper in the championship
I know who you were talking
a little bit
about,
later.
yeah.
But yeah, he's a top keeper, and Paul Heckingbottom deserves respect. And I suppose you look at it, what they conceded to away at QPR, Leicester and Ipswich at home. Nothing's going to change maybe in that regard. They're still going to be pretty solid and structured without the ball, but it's going the other way where they vastly need to improve. And I suppose we're seeing evidence of that in the opening game. So yeah, huge credit to them because everyone had them battling for survival this year. West Brom, I'd mentioned quickly, going to see them on Saturday against Stoke. What a game that is all of a sudden. And strange, isn't it? Because you look at them on the face of it. Yes, it's a new centre-half pairing in Nat Phillips and Campbell from MLS and Hegerber up top. But, I look at the 11 and I think, yeah, that's an all right championship team. That's okay. A lot of good experience there. Not sure it's going to have enough, but they've started the season brilliantly. And Mikey Johnson getting a goal. I mean, where's he been for the last however long? Because he burst into life in the championship when he first joined from Celtic on loan, I think it was. And he's had a real quiet period. So if he can supplement what Price has done, Fellows did.
Price, Fellows, that's great, isn't it? Yeah.
What he did last year, Hegerber looks like a real handful. You'd expect with the similar kind of, the similar names and the mindset of the West Brom lads, how they've defended over the last few seasons. Defensively, they should be pretty good. Good goalkeeper in Griffiths. Great start for them. Look forward to seeing them at the weekend against Stoke, who, of course, we've been burnt by before, which is my regular line.
I keep saying, Sam, it's a trap. This is all a trap,
Yeah.
Stoke having 9 points from 3 to make people like you and me look
Yeah.
stupid again, isn't it?
Yeah, and I haven't started my digging yet ahead of the weekend, but, you can look at that front four, if you like, front three. Baker obviously got a goal at the weekend, a player I know really well, who I've probably spoken about before. I wouldn't say ostracised because that's not fair, but he was kind of stuck at Chelsea.
Is he one of your Chelsea? Yeah, I was going to say one of your Chelsea lads.
Yeah, I mean he's well into his 20s now. You still feel like he's a teenager, Lewis Baker, because he had such high hopes for him. But he kind of missed a loan move a few seasons ago, and he had to spend 6 months in the PL2 side at Chelsea. And obviously he was 4 or 5 years older, maybe even more than the majority of the team. And his attitude was exemplary, superb. And Stoke have actually kickstarted his career again when obviously he was one of those players that probably hung around. Everton have got a bad knack of doing this, keeping the lads around too long, copious loans, giving new contracts. Yeah. So he's come out to Stoke and he seems to have found a home. Good player. Technically great. I mean, obviously he scores some wonderful goals from distance, but he gets the goal. I think it was Flynn Downs kind of turned into trouble. Intensity of Stoke, eye-catching, the pace of the forward line. Sorba Thomas, 2 goals, 3 assists, 1 goal, 3 assists in his entire spell in France last season. So he is absolutely motored out of the blocks, started this season. This is
Obama. The Sorba Thomas we had at Huddersfield with Corberan, yeah?
Yeah, and if he's confident, I think Adrian Clark, who I do my other podcast with, spoke about, I think, internationally as well, that he's had some good games. So maybe he just comes in, fresh start, rich vein of form.
Who
with
does he
Manhoef.
represent internationally, Sam?
Plays for Wales.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Karen.
Yeah, and Mubama down the middle. And I've frozen the sending off. I'm not sure that's a second yellow. If indeed it was a second yellow, sorry, I've not pored over this game. But I'm not sure that was a dive. So
No.
Obama's been a little
You've
bit
got to be
hard.
really, really certain if you're going to
Yeah,
book someone for diving,
yeah.
haven't
I've
you?
paused it, and I think there may be a little bit of contact there. I'm sure it would be one that would divide opinion,
Even
but
if there isn't, you could just still fall
mm,
over, can't you? And it's not
yeah,
a
yeah, of
dive.
course,
Yeah.
yeah, of course. So I thought that was a bit harsh, but he's obviously, high pedigree in terms of a young player. West Ham, I think he scored for West Ham's first team off to Man City. He looks a real great signing. And then obviously look at the goalkeeper. I mean, the save from Harwood Bellis the other day. I'm led to believe that and you can see he's a character. I think he's everything I want in a Scandinavian goalkeeper. The beard,
You're going back to Peter
yeah.
Schmeichel here, yeah?
The shouting, he looks like a brilliant type. The high fiving when he makes a save, the cajoling, he's great. And
And an
obviously
assist.
the assist for the Thomas goal, which is just, it's absolutely perfect, isn't it? When you're probably about to start holding on for dear life to get the cushion of the second was lovely for them. So no, I can't wait to see them. Obviously against West Brom at the weekend, brilliant start. Mark Robins looks really reinvigorated this season.
Yeah, agree with that. Yeah.
So yeah, that's a tremendous start for him. Looking forward to that, and obviously Middlesbrough as well.
Well, can I do a bit of narrative there quickly as you go on to Middlesbrough?
Go
Think
on.
about that playoff final, Coventry-Luton. It was Rob Edwards and Mark Robins, and they both look reinvigorated, right?
Yeah, and yeah, got a great win. It was interesting seeing Rob Edwards. He seemed very magnanimous in victory. Is that the right word?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of handshaking, probably a lot of respect between him and Liam Manning. Young coaches. Rob Edwards obviously got 85 Ash. I'll bang the 85 Ash drum.
Is he at Borough?
He's at Borough, yeah.
Ah, smart.
And I've seen
So
quite
Robbins
a lot.
and Vivash are 1 and 2, or 1 and 2 in the table, are they?
Yeah, so I've seen quite a few people referencing that in the last few days.
Just remind the viewers what's your link with Vivash?
Well, I was at Swindon with him his last year as a player, and obviously he subsequently coached at Chelsea. So with my ties to Chelsea, I've been in touch with him on occasion over the years, just bumping into him obviously at Chelsea's training ground and such like. But yeah, really good influence on my career in a short space of time. Very complimentary, gave me loads of great advice. So someone I've always kept an eye on. And
so like a man manager, mentor type coach.
I think he's great for he's harsh. Yeah, I know that for a fact. He's hard on the players, on the young players particularly. But I think it was Clark Salter, was it? There's a few, Jay De Silva, I would imagine. I'm guessing a little bit there, but a few of them have referenced him as being massive influences on their career. So yeah, he'll be an asset to Middlesbrough. Defensively, they're looking great. Obviously, that was the first one they conceded, but more than that, they're a bit fortuitous at Millwall. I suppose 3 goals shows you that Azaz, Whittaker, Conway are starting to sparkle. Certainly Azaz and Conway at Carrow Road getting the goals. The axis of Hackney and Morris. Obviously,
are those two going to survive both transfer windows?
Yeah. Well, Hackney's the big worry, isn't he? I suppose. So we're gonna.
You think if he was going to go, he would have gone by now? Possibly.
I think if a Premier League team comes in, the money's life changing, and it's a different kettle of fish to one of the.
Fair.
With respect, Ipswich, Sheffield United, Southampton, one of the teams that are going to be more likely, in fairness, to be pushing. Although that's looking like a dangerous sentiment at the moment. The way that's
we're going to come on to the slow starters in a minute, aren't we, Sam?
Yeah, just finally on Middlesbrough. Yeah, so that axis, Luke Ayling joining in a bit from right-sided centre halves, quite interesting. So tactically, keep an eye on them.
Jones have added just ready to go Championship defenders, aren't they? Yeah,
and we were expecting Hansen to probably come in for this one after he affected things so greatly.
Yeah, Borough fans really like him
at Millwall, but he stayed true to his lineup, caused a lot of damage down the right, it would seem. I think Cordoba was playing left-sided centre-half for Norwich, and maybe a lack of mobility in the outside centre-halves just got slightly exposed. Bit of frustration with Norwich. I digress. They've just they've huffed and puffed, haven't they, start of the season. They'll get better, but Middlesbrough, well-oiled, intensity, the additional centre half has made them more watertight, which needed to happen after probably the criticism of Michael Carrick's latter tenure. Great start, taking me by surprise. And as of Stoke, I wouldn't have seen these two teams sitting on 9 points. So well done to both.
Yeah, nice one, Sam. And get in the comments, surprise superstarters. What do you reckon? We'll get another 12 clubs suggested that we should have talked about being surprise superstarters. Right, Sam, don't make me talk about what a mucking fuddle Ipswich are in over these first 3 games. But sloppy, slow starters. I've got written down here, Sam, Ipswich, Wrexham, Sheffield United. And I mean, look, if I refuse to talk about Ipswich, you can refuse to talk about QPR, but I've written QPR down as well. What do you want to talk about?
Well, let's start with Sheffield United because they're at the foot of the table. And then I'll speak in long form about...
Do we need to include Derby in this group as well?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I'll talk in long form about the team I know quite a lot about, QPR, and then I'll definitely mention Derby in there as well, just because of my pre-season expectation. 24 hours the season started, I would have had Derby and QPR hugely improving on last season's points per turn. Yeah. So Sheffield United, where to start? I suppose a bit of a miserable opening 45. Millwall by far and away, repeat what I just said a few moments ago, by far and away the more cohesive of the two sides. Coburn to get that signing full time looks like a masterstroke. Kramer now with the opportunity to play centre half finally, after joining as a centre half, but playing brilliantly at right back for so much of last season. The absence of Tanganga will allow him to do that, and he should be great. Leonard is just having a brilliant twilight to his Millwall career the last year or whatever it's been at right back. So they're looking really good, Millwall, in their shape. I like the way they've been able to get the two centre forwards in the team. And yes, one has to drop in at times, but Ivanovic and Coburn.
It says on FootMob here, Sam, Coburn off Ivanovic, but I'm sure you can look at heat maps that have a 4-4 F2 look to them when they're attacking. Yeah,
and I suppose and Kundal is obviously a central player more often than not, and obviously he drifts in, so that shores them up getting outnumbered, in the middle of the pitch because they're a bit lopsided, Millwall. So that's Millwall's set up, which I wanted to use to bring me on to Sheffield United, who, of course, just look a little bit disjointed in this Ruben Sellers 4-3-3 at the moment. I
can see 2 left backs, no right backs, and only 1 central midfielder in this 11.
Yeah, well, you've got Peck doing a hell of a lot of defensive work.
Running.
When Sumari's not there, or when that's not going to be reinforced, obviously Arblaster will wait, see how long he's going to be until he returns. So Hamer and O'Hare playing centrally is not really working. No. He shoehorned Cannon into the side wide right the other day, and he had a bit of a chasing in the afternoon. And
is that purely to protect an asset they've paid a load of money for?
I don't know. I think, he's someone who he needs cutbacks. He's a very good... I would be astonished if he's not the best kind of 1-2 touch finisher at the club in all the drills. I think he's a brilliant...
in behind, yeah?
Cannon, No, I just think he's more instinctive. He can shoot from distance. He's a goal scorer. So you need supply and you need people around him. And he's low on confidence at the moment. And I'm not suggesting he's going to turn it around, but you need to try and play to his strengths. And it didn't do him any favours really playing wide right. The fans a little bit on him at the weekend. So that's not great. Midfield we've touched on. Defensive reinforcements happening as we speak. Godfrey in at right back at the weekend. Ben Godfrey. And obviously Tanganga likely to be rubber stamped in the next few days. So that's much needed. But all of a sudden, Middlesbrough and Ipswich on the horizon for Sheffield United next 2. You go, as we know, and this is me again, broken record, you lose 5, you lose 6 straight games. I don't care what the plan was.
Because it's true, Sam.
I don't care what the plan was, or patience, or a transitional season. Dress it up how you like, and the Sheffield United fans won't see this as a transitional season. They'll see them having to be challenging for the top 2, no question. something normally gives. So yeah, he's under pressure, but my opinion right now is you have to just calm. You have to get a few bodies in, which they're doing. You need to trust that he may tinker with a setup that hasn't worked in the opening 4 games, and believe that a bit of patience is going to be good in the long run for the club. But yeah, we'd be naive to not be sitting here now and recognise that they'd have more points had Chris Wilder be the Sheffield United manager to kickstart the season. Well, they would do, but they're changing style. I thought it would have been difficult, in the summer. I think when we spoke, I thought it would have been difficult for Chris Wilder to go again this season. I just think there's quite a lot for him to lose. As brilliant as he's been, what a legend at the club, Premier League, complete legend. I just think, had they not got promoted under him this season, his legacy is tainted a little bit. And I wasn't overly surprised that the new owners decided to change. However, it's not a great look losing 4 off the bat, and they look disjointed. They don't look like a team. And in contrast, Millwall absolutely did. Second half, though, and this is, sorry to ramble, this is a small win. They were pretty good for 45 minutes. They should have scored, should have had a point, probably out of the game. Outstanding saves from Stephen Bender, struck the woodwork. Really, I think, played on the front foot in the second half. That's not enough to alleviate pressure on a manager who's lost his last 4 games, but it's something for him to revisit, clip up, show the players, and hopefully be better for it against Borough in a week's time.
Where are we going? QPR, Derby?
I think we'll go QPR because I've got probably more to say on them. Not that I've seen them live as of yet, but just all the pre-season hope has just obviously completely vanished. Just quickly, Andy Sinton, I don't know if you saw that, Ben, had a heart attack on Friday. QPR ambassador, and obviously QPR great, so he's recovering well in hospital, but I just wanted to get that in there because I didn't mention it much on my podcast yesterday. So yeah, obviously a bit of hero of mine, someone I speak to at games and such like, and he's been brilliant for QPR in his role, does the commentaries on a match day. So yeah, get that out there. There's bigger things than a poor start to the season, of course. And yeah, desperately sad for him, but hopefully he recovers. And desperately poor start to the season for the current team. First thing, kind of, I think for me, straight away, absolutely encapsulates what an amazing job that Marty Cifuentes did over his period, because I don't think their squad was too dissimilar, or I'm not sure I'd have taken his squad over this squad. And it's been a real struggle for the new manager. They look like they're trying to play more. I think Marty Cifuentes was a realist in the players that he had.
Do you expect that to change then?
Possibly. Yeah, possibly. Some of the goals they gave away, I think, exposed for a lack of pace. Definitely centrally, Cook and Morrison. I'm not sure that's going to be able to persist. You've got a rookie at left back who they signed from Flamengo, and you've got Jimmy Dunn still doing a job at right back, which has been really successful because he gets in the box from fullback a little bit more in open play or from dead balls. Physically very, very strong. He's okay on the ball. That said, he gave away a horrendous pass for, I think it was a Thomas Asante goal. So yeah, I think problems with the ball in trying to overplay, and problems without the ball in a lack of mobility, a lack of strength in the midfield. And all of a sudden, the front 4, which we were rubbing our hands together about, no Chair at the weekend, no Poku, injured, Kone obviously off the bench. That's one reason to be optimistic, but we were anticipating Dembele, Chair, Poku, Kone. Excitement levels going through the roof, and all of a sudden 2 of them are absent, and Dembele's had a poor start to the season. Kone won't be able to do it all by himself. So they have made 3 signings. I think Sato's come back in. Norrington Davis has been done as well. And one other I can't think of on the hop. But they've made 3 signings since that defeat. So here we go.
Isaac Hayden.
There you go. Isaac Hayden. That's strength in midfield straight away. Yeah, a little bit of a worry that there's no real deputy for chair as 10. I think young Kieran Morgan played there, who's an excellent player, but yeah, probably hasn't got that ability to dominate a game. Different type of player. I think he's better when he sees the game in front of him. He's better when he's receiving it, keeping it ticking. Nice footballer. He's going to be a great player. But yeah, they all of a sudden they look light. That was my takeaway from Saturday's game. So most welcome getting 3 through the door. But a season where I felt they would definitely improve on last season's finish is looking highly doubtful now. It's a big job on for the manager.
Is it a ridiculous thing to say that you can concede 7 and it can be a bit unlucky if everything goes in and, a game just gets away from you? It doesn't necessarily mean if you concede 7 that you're in for disaster for the next 3 months, does it?
No, I don't think so. I think they were incredibly clinical, Coventry. And QPR played into their hands. And the one thing I didn't mention, and I will mention, is I'm not sure about the goalkeeper situation. Joe Walsh played. They got Paul Nardi on the bench, who I thought was one of QPR's best signings last season. Right. Certainly for the opening 6 months. I haven't had an opportunity to look into it. I don't know the reasoning behind it. I know he was linked strongly. I don't know if it's a case of the new manager doesn't fancy him or the hierarchy want to move him on. Paul Nardi is a better goalkeeper right now than Joe Walsh. And hopefully that's not a mean thing to say, but the first one should have been dealt with. And I'm not sure, despite the beauty aesthetically of the Victor Torp 7th for Coventry, I'm not sure the 6th or the 7th should have found the net. So, yeah, I think you want to have confidence in your goalkeeper, especially when you're up against it and you're conceding goals. And I'm not sure it looked like they did at the weekend, but let's hope he can recover from that. It's unlikely, isn't it, that a goalkeeper keeps his place after conceding 7? Because I think if you concede 7 goals, invariably you could have done better with 1 or 2. So we'll watch this space. But I thought that, along with the Dunn giveaway, along with the centre halves getting outpaced, outmanoeuvred, was definitely an ingredient in the defeat. And Derby. Should we do that?
Yeah, round it out with Derby. So we've talked plenty about Ipswich and Wrexham. And if your team doesn't get mentioned on the show today, they will. Don't worry about that. But Derby, you going to give them a pass because of all the injuries?
I think so, yeah. And, I spoke about it a little bit last week, didn't I? I think there's, some new ideas that are trying to get ingrained in the players. So the only change, I think, correct me if I was wrong, was Vyman coming in for Caden Jackson. So kind of like for like. It's a bit of a 3-4-3 really, because Ebu Adams has this
5-4-1 very defensive throughout the ball, wasn't it?
But he has this free role, Ebu Adams, especially in the game I saw against Coventry, where he does end up right hand side of a front 3. Vyman obviously would pull off the left. Caden Jackson does that quite well as well. So it's a new setup. I think in time they'll be better, because Thompson and Ozo for me have looked a little bit short. Good quality there, really good quality, but probably need a bit of game time.
Against a good pressing team in Bristol City as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I've only seen snippets, but it looked like Bristol City were good value to be a goal to the good. It looked like they had the better chances, and obviously Carlton Morris gets them out of the mire again, just with that ball creeping over the line. But I think you have to factor in, he's not happy, I don't think, with the way that they've been attacking. And I think that's, probably the large nucleus of what he wants from his side this year is to be a little bit more attack-minded and not have to be overly reliant on the set piece or, setting his team up to not lose, which I think towards the tail end of the last season, when salvaging the campaign is your only goal rather than, attacking it and trying to, get top half or whatever. So, yeah, I think slightly mitigating circumstances, which has been a consistent message from me across the opening few weeks. But yeah, completely was optimistic about Derby's chances, completely expected them to hugely improve on their points return from last season. And as of yet, they're not playing particularly well. So we'll see how they turn up the next couple of games.
Brilliant stuff. There are your surprise super starters and your sloppy slow starters. As we said with the super starters, let us know if your team belongs in the sloppy slow starters, and my team certainly does, and we can get Sam's take on that. So we're going to do the predictions in a minute, but next time we hear from you, Sam, you're going to have seen Bristol City in the flesh in the EFL Cup, and you're going to have seen Stoke and West Brom. So we'll be able to talk maybe, we've spoken about Stoke a lot today as well, but it's starting to figure itself out what the hierarchy is this season, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I think that'll be a really good gauge, Stoke against West Brom, to see, just how good the Baggies are as well. You'd imagine this will be as good as atmosphere at Stoke as it's been for many a year. 3 games in, probably be a relatively warm day still.
Not a cold, windy Wednesday night, no?
A lot of replica shirts on show. Baggies just down the road. What's that? 45 minutes, hour. There'll be a packed away end. All of a sudden, that's got the makings of a brilliant game. And I think 2 teams that are going to look a little bit different to maybe the last few seasons where, not particularly cohesive and maybe, and certainly in West Brom's case, a more defensive side might have 2 teams going for it all of a sudden. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And Bristol City, under a new manager, I think have got a really good chance at Fulham on Tuesday, because Fulham will play the second string and straight to penalties. I think that could be a draw, that one. And it could be the old spot kicks. But yeah, I'll fancy Bristol City to be really competitive in that one.
There we go. You can join us tomorrow for the predictions, and then we'll kind of get into the weekend stuff here. Thank you for joining us for the Championship Check-In podcast, and we'll be back with Sam this time next week.